How's everybody doing? Happy post-Super Bowl. Happy Valentine's Day for all of you that celebrate. I guess we all should. So, my wife watches these, so happy Valentine's Day to my wife, Molly, who is actually in charge of everything that happens in our household. So, without her, I wouldn't be able to get dressed, pay a bill, eat, breathe, whatever it may be. So, we're quick turnarounds is, it's a part of it. I think everybody kind of goes through these stretches in the Big Ten schedule. And, for us having to play Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday is, something that's unique, like when you get to this point. But it's something here in February you try and balance keeping your team sharp, but keeping them fresh. And, this will be a challenge for us to do, but, we need to be both going into this stretch of games. So, that's our opportunity. We want to get back out on the practice court. We had a little bit of stuff that we could do yesterday, but get back out there today and finish our preparations for Michigan State, because they pose a great challenge. They're a really good team coming in here, a well-coached team, and, but we'll be ready to play. We'll be fresh, and we need to execute and stay disciplined on the defensive end to do what we need to do to try and win this game tomorrow.
Micah, I don't want to sort of belabor this point because I know it's been a focal point for you in the past few games, but when you have so many issues with getting fouls called, is there kind of a breaking point where you, I don't want to say redesign the offense, but maybe become a little more perimeter focused, look for more drive and kicks rather than finishing at the rim?
I don't know. I don't think we can, continue to or change some things. Like, some people guard us in certain ways, and our guys, you have to take what the defense gives you, and we're going to continue to attack. Like, that's what we've done. That's where we've had success, and we got to continue to play that way. If you don't attack, then you don't get any driving kicks. Right now, you're just the guys on the perimeter just standing there looking at each other. We'll continue to play our style. We got to be better at how we do things. We got to do it for longer stretches. And now, it's almost like when we were in the NBA, it was, you talk about, we just talk about fourth quarter defense all the time. And good offensive players, like, can you cut and move through physicality, like, during an NBA game, like the best scorers, the best players that play off the ball, because it's easy to do it for three quarters, right? Those guys play 48 minutes, so you don't always see the best defense at the start of the game. But in the fourth quarter, if you're a dude, if your name's at the top of that scouting report, like, you got to play through physicality. You got to cut, you got to move, you got to do it at a high rate of speed, and you got to get open. And that's what our guys need to do, right? That's what we'll work on. That's what we'll continue to get better at. And we need to do it for 40 minutes and continue to cut, continue to play at a higher rate, and, get the angles and the advantages that we need to. So that's what we'll keep working on. That's what we'll keep getting better at. And then, that'll allow us to get the angles we need to score at the rim.
Micah, first of all, shout out to Molly for subjecting herself to us asking you questions. That must be true love.
Hey, true love.
Hey, the points off turnovers, the style you play, obviously turnovers seem to be magnified. What can you do to reduce the impact of that hurting you, I guess?
Yeah. It's been an issue for us, like, our turnovers all year. Like, we've been fairly consistent turning the ball over, and I get a guy that does analytics for us, and it hurts your feelings to look at that every single game, because he doesn't hold back with his adjectives, and it'll be like, your turnover percentage was this game, and that is very poor. I'm like, I understand, thank you, I know it's very poor, but it's just an area where we have to be better. Like, it's not anything that the defense is doing, right? We're hurting ourselves, and Penn State can't beat Penn State. Like, Penn State's got to beat Minnesota. Penn State's got to beat Michigan State. Like, Penn State can't beat Penn State, and right now that's what we're doing to ourselves. So we just can't have them. As much as we try to, we focus on the small fundamental details in practice of, catching the ball with two hands, passing the ball to eyes. Right? If you're not looking at me, I shouldn't throw it to you. We talked about in the Minnesota game, you can't outlet the ball without looking because guys, Peyton Willis kind of hangs around in that backcourt and he's going to look for steals. So we did all those things. But we'll keep working on it. We'll keep getting better. And sometimes if you walk in, we're having camp at the start of practice, but we need to get to the point where Penn State's not beating Penn State. And if we want to become a good team, we have to eliminate those.
Micah, I guess, with the way that the offseason worked out, you had, I guess, a pretty unique opportunity and challenge to build a roster on the fly, I guess, in your first year. Have you learned anything from that process and kind of seeing how all of that has played out that you can take into how you build future rosters for yourself in the program?
A little bit, but not much. Just because it's, I hope I'm not in the same circumstances again. Right? If so, it's my own doing, and I deserve whatever I get. But I think you'll see us recruiting in a different way, right? I think everybody takes a chance. There might be open roster spots, or you fill needs through the transfer portal, but we're going to recruit high school kids. And we're going to grow those kids. We're going to develop those kids. And those are the guys that we've spent a lot of time on because they fit how we want to play and who we want to be, who we want in our locker room and everything else. So that's how you'll see our teams being built. And hopefully over time, those teams are able to grow together, right? Everything's volatile with the transfer portal and guys leaving. You can't keep everybody happy, right? There's 13 scholarship guys. You can only play 5 at a time. So somebody inevitably is going to be upset. But if you're trying to develop those guys at the same time while working with them and talking about, where you see them, what their roles are going to be, I think you can keep guys like that. And that's when you start to build a program, right? You see a Purdue, you see a Wisconsin, teams in our league that don't have people really transferring out in huge numbers. They get guys, they get them better, and then those guys help them win. I think that's how we want to be. That's how we want to build this thing, and we'll fill needs through transfers, but we got to make our own guys better. We got to recruit, have a keen eye for who fits us and who we want, and then we got to make those guys better, and then fill in needs if we need to from there.
Micah, some of the things that you said after the game to some of us in here who have been around a while, but not necessarily unique to this program. Mm-hmm. Having coached in the Big Ten previously, is that an issue that you anticipated having at Penn State?
No, and I don't think it's I don't think anybody has a Penn State bias. I don't think these referees go in and just man, I hate blue. I ain't calling nothing for them, right? It's just how we play is different than other people, right? Take Purdue, for example, right? They have 2 dominant post players, and then they have another guard that attacks the rim at a high rate. So, they're going to draw fouls based on that, how they play. They're going to throw the ball in the post a lot. Kofi, Illinois, they're going to throw the ball in the post a lot. We don't throw the ball in the post a lot to John, right? We play a different style than some other people play. So, things that might not be important in the kind of throughout the game for other people, it doesn't really matter. But it's really important to us. It's not like Penn State has played a traditional style for 20 years, right? We're completely different than how they've played in the past. So, it's just a matter of maybe people taking time to adjust to what we're trying to do, or maybe it takes, me saying something or talking about it, so people see it and understand what really affects us and what doesn't affect us. Like, that's the only thing that I see. So, I don't know. I was pretty frustrated at the moment. Obviously you could probably tell that. But like at the end of the day, also, like, hats off to Minnesota. They beat us, right? They beat us, and we have to be better. I don't want to sit here and be like, sour grapes, and like, we got beat. Like, we got beat against Michigan. We should have won the game. We got beat. Like, Wisconsin, we had opportunities and we got beat. Like, I'm not crying or complaining because we got beat. Like, we have to be better as well. But there's just an expectation, and I think everybody being at their best, and knowing what we're trying to do, how we're trying to attack, and other things like that. So, I don't know. I guess I just rambled around what you just said, but I don't feel any kind of biased or anything from the league. Now, if it happens 10 years from now and I'm still talking about it, then yeah, maybe there is, but I don't feel that way. I just feel like we're different in how we play, and what's important to us might not be important to other teams. But that's why the referees get paid the big bucks.
It might not be 10 years, but we did hear that 10 years ago, so it's slightly familiar. But if I took any coach in the Big Ten and told them to draw up their 10 highest basketball IQ plays or schemes, that's undoubtedly more complex than what their team is actually running. What are the parameters for you for increased complexity, diversity, and depth that a team has compared to what you know versus what you can do?
Yeah, that's a balancing act right there upon itself. You have to have people that have kind of corporate knowledge, right? Like, I was at Purdue for 2 years, but Sasha Stefanovic had been there for 2 years before I got there, right? So there's things that we didn't have to practice. We didn't have to go through, and I could call it, and he could do it, right? He's got corporate knowledge of their offense. Like, he just needs to hear one thing, and he knows exactly what his role is, or what he needs to do in a certain play. We're still learning that, right? Even though we're 21 games in, there's still things that, like, catch us off guard. So we haven't been super complex in terms of what we're trying to do, because we don't have a bunch of guys with corporate knowledge. Like, you go through it, you go into next year and you have some guys back that have been here for a year. Like, now some little things that I say, they understand it completely and exactly, and they've been through, like, what we're trying to do and how we attack, another team, because they've seen how that other team tries to guard, right? You have a better feel, like, hey, Ohio State tries to do this, or Michigan State tries to do this, without me even talking about it. I think the newness, that's where you get hurt by the newness of a team. The first time, like, everything's brand new, and so we've been pretty vanilla in terms of what we want to do. Like, it hurts me at times too. Like, there's a lot of things I see that I'm like, we could really do that, but I'm not sure if we're quite ready for it yet. So I think in time you'll be able to see more. Hopefully, with an older group, it's you would like to do it more, but the older guys are new to me as well. So, like I've said before, it's like we have all freshmen at times.
Does that haunt you a little bit in these close games where you go? I mean, Sam in an ISO situation is maybe the most pragmatic thing that you can do a lot of these times, but maybe not the actual answer to the problem that you're trying to solve. And you go, well, this makes sense for us, but at the same time, I can see this thing that if we did this instead, maybe it just goes differently. I mean, is that difficult at this point?
A little bit, yeah. Like, if you if you could take a remote control and I could just hold it on the side of the basket or on the side of the court, like, I think we'd be really good. But, you know, also have to prepare guys for last-minute situations and what we should be looking for, right? It doesn't change a whole lot in terms of what you're looking for or how you're trying to attack at certain times. Now you just need to do it at end-of-game pressure moments and pressure situations. And that's what they need to understand is, like, you prepare them for these moments. You prepare them for the game. You prepare them for these moments. And then, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you have to step out and do it. And but things change throughout the game. Like, I wish I was allowed to coach both teams. You know, we'd be in business. If I could coach both teams and I had the remote, like, be undefeated right now. 'Cause, you know, but we can't, unfortunately. So we're still learning. We're still growing. And, you know, one of these late game situations is going to turn for us, and we're going to get what we want. And, you know, we'll keep growing towards that.
Micah, on the Minnesota broadcast, they mentioned, I think they said something about Greg Lee being back within a week. Do you have a timetable for him, and where's he at, and sort of what sort of happened there?
Yeah, you know, Greg's still kind of day to day. You know, Justin sends me an update each day of, like, you know, his prognosis. It doesn't. Just kind of list him as day to day, just based on how he feels and what he's able to do. Like, you know, you don't want to put him in a bad spot. If you talk to Greg was ready to play 2 weeks ago before he got hurt. And I'm ready. Hey, I know I'm not hurt yet, but I'm ready to play. Like, you got to do what's best for him as well. And I know he is, like, anxious to get back. But, like, he's got to be back where he's able to help us. And get back. You know, he was starting to play well, and I know he's a little upset that, you know, he got injured while he was playing well. So I don't know. Like, you know, I'll see what he can do today. I haven't talked to Justin about it, but I'll see. You know, hopefully he can do something today. You know, fingers crossed. I don't know that, but we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow. And if, you know, he's not ready to go tomorrow, then I'll ask him again on Wednesday and see what he says. So. Fingers crossed he could be back soon for us, but I don't know what that is. It's not a season-ending injury or anything. He's getting better. He's moving better, but I don't have an answer for how long he's going to be out or when he'll be available for us. Thank you, guys. Yep.